See who's going to federal prison? Carlo Lopez, while LAPD engages in terrorism on his behalf, which represents the people of the state in the specific environment, while engaging in P.O.C. Flying right over my head while I'm documenting Carlo Lopez is going to federal prison, group stalking at the workplace in the specific environment. It's nowhere near Ontario. In addition to that, this is not the son that's going to be present over me while he is group stalking in the evening at the same property, stalking in the path like he is right now, while that same light source is still over me at this same property address at what is 4:55 in the evening, tracking my steps with this fake son, which is demonic, and it is also directly speaking to this third party's condition, who was in a workplace engaging in terrorism with that entity that just provided additional evidence relevant for purposes of enhancement to charges and sentencing. Carlo Lopez is a disgusting and despicable sex offending demon-possessed group stalker, and I'm not being hyperbolic. That's why the entity engages in the ongoing pattern within the pattern. While the people of the state are fully exposed, engaging in terrorism in the state of California, the corrupt government that is riddled and infected with demon-possessed psychopaths who have reached the end of the road of their secret system provide evidence against that entity. Carlo Lopez is going to federal prison. He is a heavily and thoroughly documented terrorist engaging in the pattern of conduct in the workplace in concert with the government that's heavily documented engaging in terrorism in the workplace with him, relying on the criminal cooperative acts of Carlo Lopez. And that light source, as you can see, it is not anywhere in Ontario. You can see it through the vehicle. It is directly over me at the same exact property. And while I'm capturing him engaging in group stalking today, which is exactly what is the evidence that's on the record. And while the entity is engaging in group stalking in the workplace, this is the same apartment complex where I'm working. And this is the side where this fake son is captured, where Carlo Lopez is on the property, group stalking at 5 p.m., which is speaking to the phenomenon, not the son, stalking in the specific environment. And the demon-possessed population that are the people of the state, they do that in the workplace. You go to federal prison for that. You go straight to federal prison. And the workplace that are speaker companies, this is why Heather Till is going to federal prison. They are doing so in concert. They're the same population. So you have the population that extends their property, they extend their business, they extend with regard to whatever they have at their disposal, while the state is engaging in that criminal system with them. The state engages in the pattern of stalking in a helicopter in a manner that you can perceive it. They're already stalking 24/7. Well, the entity will go to the extent to communicate a threat with the criminal purpose of intimidating, threatening, terrorizing, and harassing as an entity, while they engage in the demonic elements of monitoring terrorism while you engage in group stalking, and doing so while federal stalking on the venue of the internet, keeping me under surveillance with regard to what I'm doing on the internet on my communication device, in violation of Title 18-22618 subsections 1 and 2, all occurring in the workplace under that which is not possibly the son that's over me at the same apartment complex while I'm standing outside of my leasing office. This is captured today while you have a demon-possessed third-party group stalker masquerading in relevant position. The demons, the cowards that they are, keeping their back to you while they're tracking your steps on behalf of that government that just flew over, providing direct evidence against him, the identical behavioral pattern in the specific environment. Both of those are insurmountable aspects of the specific environment where federal group stalking is underway in the shoes of the state, and it's occurring in the workplace, which is why speaker companies is not going to survive civil and criminal prosecution. And like I said before, Heather Till is indeed going to federal prison for what the people of the state engaged in, the criminal act of obstruction of justice, referred to as the employee warning notice, while the people of the state, under the malicious guise of maintaining a workplace where terrorism by the state is underway, and they are the same exact vicarious criminal co-conspirator, the people of the state. This is documenting Carlo Lopez. He is going to federal prison. This is the exact same, by the way, criminal act that the entity engaged in while I was documenting Jong Kim, who's going to federal prison. This is a terrorist who's not even a natural born citizen, and she's going to be shipped right back to her place of origin, which is somewhere in Korea, where she can terrorize people there. All right. She's engaging in the same criminal system that Carlo Lopez is doing in the workplace. And so that's relevant with regard to draining the pockets of that corrupt company. This is relevant to RICO charges, by the way. While the entity, this is demonic pacing. Carlo Lopez is standing in relevant position in the engineered environment. This is a demon that's crossing path. This is engineered light that's on the asphalt, and they do so with simultaneity to my capturing images of Carlo Lopez, who knows that he's being documented. And this is because they're demon possessed and they're keeping me under surveillance on communication devices. This is revealing both the criminal system and the demonic features, what the demon possessed know and everything that they're engaging in while they know it. And it's also speaking to the secrets of the what Satan does, how Satan uses people, and how you can also witness the presence of Satan through the demonic environment that the demon possessed are maintaining presence all around you. And everything that I'm stating is supported by the direct evidence in the past pattern that the demon-possessed cycle in. They repeat the same identical cycle in that specific environment. So this is speaking to the P.O.C. This is the same specific environment. I'm at the same apartment complex, and Carla Lopez is on the job at this same apartment complex, while the fake sun, in the same way that it is right now at 8 in the morning, following me as I come from my apartment, which is nowhere, by the way, in Ontario, California, which is where I'm capturing the light source, not the sun. And you have what is the specific environment, which is the federal group stalking and monitoring that's underway. And while this same light source, while I'm at the same exact leasing office, it's maintaining perfect alignment with me, just on the opposite side of my person. This is exactly where it's at right now. While Carla Lopez, this is a third party this is where I'm standing right now, where Carla Lopez is right here stalking in the path with his back to me, operation of a communication device, group stalking, while this fake sun is on the opposite side of my person at the same location. This is captured at 5:01 in the afternoon on June 18, 2024. This entity is group stalking as an entire population. This is what the corrupt entity is doing. And what I was capturing here is the light source that remains in alignment to me, and doing so while I'm documenting group stalking in concert with minor children. Okay, this is what the population, this is why all the minor children that live at Alvarado Gardens, they're going to be removed from the custody of the terrorists that are the mentally deranged entity stalking in helicopters, losing. You have long lost and been defeated with regard to corruption of a government being exposed and being prosecuted. And so I just want to point that out. That's obvious on its face. In addition, you are at the point now where you're providing literally the federal judge more ammunition to place this population, the people of the state, in federal prison longer, because it's vividly revealing the malice with which they engage in this conduct, speaking to presence of knowledge, presence of mind, the intention that is captured while the entity engages in terrorism together. This demon that knows that he's being documented on my communication device, and then the entity is flying over my head in a helicopter. That's literally the pattern of conduct. And this is group stalking in the workplace. Stalking in the path, maintaining criminal presence at 4:55 p.m. where the sun would never be at the same location. Not only is it at the same address, the same apartment complex, to the exclusion of any other location, by the way, including the Department of Motor Vehicles in Glendale, California, including anywhere in Ontario, where I am capturing. Nonetheless, there's already a body of evidence speaking to what is surrounding a corrupt government that's practicing demonic activity, and it is criminal surveillance. And while Speaker Companies is engaging in that, Speaker Companies is fully exposed to civil and criminal prosecution. They're group stalking as employees for a third-party company, and they're engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, which is exactly what I continuously point out. While these demons are keeping me under surveillance, fully aware of everything that I'm documenting, and using the group chat, and you can see the pattern with regard to the time that they send text messages, which is operation of a communication device. Not the fact that they are criminally misusing the business of an illegitimate company that's a third party, and they're all demon-possessed third parties, group stalking also in relevant position, which is why you have these same actors, group stalking in relevant position. They're all going to federal prison. Every single last name you see here, and the corporate office is going to federal prison. Everybody living at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison. This is why you have the specific environment where I live and work, where the documented maintenance of the light source remains well into the evening, which is what I'm documenting on an ongoing basis. Speaking to the pattern of conduct, it is currently 8:45 in the morning, and the light source is remaining in alignment to me, which is exactly what I'm documenting as I walk downstairs from my apartment to the leasing office. And this is nowhere near the Glendale DMV, by the way, as I capture video starting at 8:47 in the morning on June 5th, 2024. This is engineer light that's creating the shape of the window on the ground. This is speaking to the immediacy of the light source. It's not also at the same time over the Glendale DMV, where the Glendale Police Department are engaging in the same pattern while I'm capturing images of the people of the state. Oh, the demons that are the terrorist organizations will arrive in relevant position to directly communicate a threat. They're going to federal prison for that, and they are surrounded by a whole pre-existing body of evidence revealing their condition and the criminal system that they are literally mirroring to the T. Okay, that is speaking directly to Carlos Lopez. He's going to federal prison. Okay, and this is nothing other than poetic justice, because the demon-possessed population get to witness their exposure while they're monitoring somebody on a communication device, while you're listening, sitting on the edge of your seat with regard to every syllable that I utter. Listen to this audible activity. You are going to federal prison. Everybody working with you for Speaker Companies in SoCal is going to federal prison. Everybody in the corporate office whom you incriminate while you're group stalking in concert with the state that just flew over my head in a helicopter, incriminating all of you who are the people of the state, you're all going to federal prison. All right, this is speaking to the ongoing surveillance that's underway. Speaker companies as a third party, totally illegitimate, engaging in a documented criminal act of obstruction of justice, engaging in what is assault and battery as well as an entity, and then using the substance of their emails with simultaneity to the demons that are stalking in helicopters. That's what I documented Kimberly Fletcher, Don Nagel, Maria Solis Alvarez, Gabriel Arriaga Carbajal, who stepped outside engaging in what is a direct contact in the pattern of conduct with the LAPD, who flew over this same apartment complex over my office while Smart Janitorial was stalking at the door, review the video evidence, and this is the same property where the sunset is present. It's all demonic conduct in a relevant position to me where the fake sun remains in alignment to me from the beginning till the end of the day. Speaking to their condition and their real-time knowledge. This is the so-called sun that's over me right now. And this is 6:44 in the evening where I am through the blinds that are closed. You can see the light source. First of all, this is a hovering position. The sun is not going to be in perfect alignment with the window of a third floor apartment building. In addition to that, this is not even the sun that will be present 12 hours from where I captured outside of my living room window of the same apartment at 6 in the morning, nor is this sunlight that's appearing on my ceilings. It's the pattern of the blinds appearing both above my head. This is demonic. This is the engineered light that Carla Lopez is walking in operation of a communication device while the government with whom he's group stalking me and on whose behalf he's group stalking with, in concert with, flies over, engages in a documented act of terrorism. The demons that are these terrorist organizations, which Dominic Choi is fully aware of and participating and facilitating. He is engaging in what is the identical pattern of conduct while the entity engages in criminal activity, and it's criminal activity which is well within my rights, and anyone with any iota of common sense or the ability to enforce your rights would do the same, and it is not unlawful, and the federal government will in every way intensify federal prosecution where the government seeks to engage in obstruction of justice. That is silence you while you enforce your rights to not be subject to terrorism by a demon-possessed population who are abusing the constitutional rights. I want you to see who's going to federal prison. The same demons that are acting with defiance. Let me be clear. Defiance and rebellion is nothing other than the basis of their judgment. Not only are you going to federal prison, but all the world's going to know that you serve Satan. And serving Satan has gotten you time in federal prison. That's what that text message represents. They are doing so in a specific environment. They are doing so pursuant to the knowledge that they are being exposed, and that's speaker companies incriminating itself and incriminating all the people of the state. This fake sun remains over me for the duration of the day while the entity uses the phone in the office, uses the emails while they're engaging in surveillance, which is relevant to Title 18, group stalking on the job, living at the crime scene. You go to federal prison. So I just want to make sure you recognize that. License plate 9FCX513, group stalking in the workplace. Carla Lopez is going to federal prison. And this is all occurring on the watch of our Todd Speaker, a group stalker, by virtue of his property management company, that is his business, which is a third party, and the demon-possessed third parties who are working for that company are documented group stalkers. They're terrorists. They're not legitimate employees. They are third parties maliciously acting under the guise of maintaining a business, engaging in what is the operation of a company where it's the specific environment and the state is group stalking with the people. So you're taking off that superficial veil and you're looking at the same exact raw criminal activity, and it's demonic activity in the workplace. That's serving for draining the pockets of our Todd Speaker and speaker companies for terrorism. And then I just want to speak to the damages that he is not equipped to handle with regard to that which has never been contemplated under federal law. You cannot compensate enough for what the target individual is experiencing, especially what I'm documenting. And this is for a term of years. And then the ongoing foolishness. Okay, it's not just audacity, it's foolishness while you engage in that, and the evidence already has fully exposed beyond a reasonable doubt. They are fully cognizant of everything that's being exposed about them while they continue the criminal system. That's also directly relevant to how dry I'm going to drain your pockets. And it's not because I want your money. It's because justice requires it. It is currently 8:50 a.m. This is P.O.C.